Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Saw related discussion video. We're going to be talking about Jigsaw 2 or Saw 9. This is basically just an open question, guys. I want to know everybody's opinion. What do you want if we were to get a Saw 9 or a Jigsaw 2? What do you want in terms of naming, story, or anything else like that? So just to kind of preface this, I am currently working on my pitch. If everyone here has seen my rewrite for Saw 7, it's going to be something like that, where I'm going to go over just basic story details from what I would like to see from a potential Saw 9. Of course, I'm not rewriting anything. I'm going directly off of what they gave us from Jigsaw. I'm not going to be stepping on anyone's toes or anything else like that. It's going to be my unsolicited pitch for what I would like to see from the movie. And heck, maybe someone sees it, maybe someone doesn't. I don't know. I'm not going to live in that fairy tale world, really. I'm just going to do my best, and I'm going to do my best to give as much as I possibly can back to this fandom. Everyone here has just been so absolutely great, and I want to do right by you guys. I want to put out content that you want to listen to. I want to be there for this all fandom, because I absolutely love this fandom. I want to get back to the good old days when we had the House of Jigsaw forum and everyone was just kind of copacetic with each other. I know we're never really going to be there anymore. It's just kind of passed. That whole time has passed. But with the resurrection of the Saw franchise with Jigsaw, I just want to do my part. And that's one of the reasons I'm going to be making this video. It's one of the reasons I'm making this video. I want to hear everyone's pitch for a Saw 9. If you're inclined to give it, maybe do your own video, maybe write out your own pitch, maybe on the Amino app or something else like that. I don't know where you talk about that, if not in my comment section below. But heck, I want everyone's opinion on it. So just to kind of give you some brief details, I'm still working out the general story and how I really want it to be set up, but I have to be honest. If they're going to do another sequel to Jigsaw, if they're not going to end it, and you know, trust me, I believe, and at least I personally think that you can definitely end it at Jigsaw. I know there's a lot of stuff left unanswered and everything else like that, but, you know, it's kind of a nice little ending to the entire series. It lets us know that everything can continue. They can pick it up at some point down the line and everything else like that. But the movie's been so much of a success. Probably not as much as they might have wanted, given the long-running history of this franchise, but definitely for the $10 million they spent, it is a big success for them. I'm sure everyone involved made money. One of the things I did learn recently, and it's definitely worth talking about, is that because Lionsgate owns the Jigsaw films, or the rights to them and everything else like that, they get to sell them on the international market for people who want to pick it up and distribute it out there. Because most big studios, and Lionsgate is one of the largest, but still an independent studio, the only reason they compete with other people like Disney and Warner Brothers and everything else like that is because they, a couple years ago, bought Summit Entertainment, which made the Twilight films and a lot of other stuff, and merged into them. A lot of people were really mad about that. I was one of the few people who was incredibly excited about that. I've always been a huge supporter of both studios, and even though I really liked the further competition, it just kind of felt like the right move at the time, and I'm really happy they did that. But because they own the whole Jigsaw franchise, they got to sell it out for distribution rights in the international market. And I have been hearing rumblings that Jigsaw, despite ever really even going into theaters, if it never went into theaters or it never made any money, it would have still been profitable. So yes, the thing here is that this movie has been profitable, at least to the extent that they weren't really relying on it. Lionsgate is currently having its best year in its history outside of 2012, which saw the release of the Hunger Games movie. So obviously that was a big running point for them. So even though everyone likes to talk about Lionsgate having a bad bomb with the Power Rangers movie, they weren't relying on Jigsaw or Tyler Perry's Boo 2 in order to save them this year. They have had a very lucrative year. Most in part thanks to La La Land and John Wick. Also, The Shack was a huge success for them. Jigsaw and Tyler Perry's Boo 2 were just icing on the cake. So theoretically, we're going to be getting a Saw 9 sometime down the line. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be next year or the year after that. I'm not even sure when they're ever going to announce it, if they're going to announce it anytime soon. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed, and I want to give everyone here as much information about that as possible. So yes, it's been profitable. Yes, it's been profitable enough to make a sequel, and we just want to sit back and see what that sequel is and everything else like that. But until they tell us we're actually getting it, and we get everyone who's going to be involved with the sequel, whether they bring back the writers or whether they get someone else or anything else like that, the best we can do as a community, and one of the things we used to do on the House of Jigsaw forum, is pitch what we would like to see from an inevitable sequel. And I want to do that. I want to do that with you guys. I think it would be so much fun. It's just always a fantastic creative exercise. One of the things I want to do here, and I just want to be open about it, is I want to change the formula a little bit. One of the things that we've been kind of involved with since the very beginning of Jigsaw is kind of come into a melodrama, police procedural aspect. That's one of the reasons it feels so much like a television show, where you have police officers chasing down Jigsaw at the same time. You have all the traps going on, and the stories inevitably collide into some big twist. I want to get rid of as much as I possibly can with my pitch later down the line, and I want to know if anyone else has any really good ideas and how to change up the formula with the upcoming or potential sequel for this movie. And I want to say, get rid of the entire police procedural process. Don't have any cops in particular. They're just, I feel like that storyline is done, even though they did set up some people, especially if you've seen Jigsaw, you know they set up some people that are going to probably be really important. And I don't know, or probably a lot of people don't know, how you can take those characters and get them away from the cop-centric storylines, because that's where they were really hovering around in Jigsaw. But I think there is a way that you can definitely do this. Of course, one of the things that we need to see as Saw fans is they need to bring back the flashbacks. They need to bring back actually showing footage from the previous movies. Not a whole lot, but just enough to kind of wink and nod that yes, things happened, and we're going to acknowledge the characters who are still alive or still kicking at the end of the Saw movie franchise after 7, who might have some involvement with the continuing of the legacy in these films. You need to reference that stuff. It's basically for the fans, the people who've been here for so long. I know that they're trying to get to a bigger audience, they're trying to get to a wider audience, but this is such a niche franchise at this point, and it's kind of even crazy if you break it down like that it's still in theaters, that it just speaks to how unbelievably successful and how rabid the fan base is, the people who do like to see these movies every year, the people who follow the convoluted storyline, and also the people who just want to turn up and see a Jigsaw film just so they could see how the story continues, or they can see what the film has in store for them in terms of traps or something else like that. So I really think there is some room to bring back some of the old characters, the old footage from the previous films, in order to connect it a little bit more tightly to the previous franchise that we had before they took a break for so long. And with the reintroduction, with establishing the other characters, this would be the best time to do that. That's one thing I really want to bring to my pitch as well. I want everyone else to think of it like this as well. And then another thing I really want them to do is bring back iconography of the Saw franchise. I want them to see Billy. I want to see the pig mask. I want to see all this other stuff, but I want to give a spin to it. I want to try something a little bit differently and not do the same old Billy puppet, not do the same old pig mask or the hooded creature or anything else like that. I want to have as much fun expanding this, playing around with certain things as I possibly can. Of course, with my pitch, it's only going to be a video with a couple pictures to give some reference. It's not going to be anything that I work incredibly hard on. I don't really draw very well, so I'm not going to be drawing out like conception art, but I want to give my opinions on how I think that this should go forward and give a legitimate reason as to why it's evolved in one way or another. It's one of the things I'm really hopeful for. And then at the same time, I think we should, in fact, carry over the characters from Jigsaw. You need to focus on those people. I think it would be a detriment to the series and its continuity to completely ignore the people left standing at the end of Jigsaw, especially with Hannah Emily Anderson. I think she was a standout in Jigsaw, and I would really like to continue her character and figure out what she has in store, what she has probably hidden. There's a lot of mystery surrounding her character as well as everyone else, but one of the things I really would like to explore is her character. I think she could really end up being a really phenomenal Shawnee Smith replacement as Amanda. Not necessarily in that regard. I have a I have a story, an outline basically centered around her. That's what my Saw 9 would really focus around, is her character. But I'm sure everyone in the comment section below has their thoughts and opinions on what they would like to see in Saw 9. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys to share those thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And if I like something, I'd probably ask you for permission to work it into my story if it could fit. One of the other things, and I just need to say this here because I know a lot of people might be asking, well, where does it fit? Like, how does all this kind of work into the old stuff? The one thing I will give you guys about where my film is set almost primarily is the Saw 2 house. I'm going to fit as much as I can, and it's going to be primarily done and in the Saw 2 house through the entire film. I think that that is the perfect place to set up, draw reference, and pay homage to the earlier films in the franchise while also building characters and setting the story forward. In my opinion, my pitch plays out as the first in probably a 1 or 2 film arc, or maybe even the last trilogy, getting us to Saw 10 or Saw 11, and then it all comes to a head at that. And I'm going to just leave it at that. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. I hope everyone will take the time to share their thoughts and opinions and what they would like to see in a Saw 9 movie if it were to ever be made. I'm not confirming anything or denying anything right here. I'm just going off of all the information that I've gathered myself. So guys, what would your pitch be? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Don't forget to hit that bell over by the subscriber button. Share this video out to all your friends so they can share their thoughts, opinions, and pitches on Saw 9 as well. I hope everyone has a good day. It's been real.